Hey guys, how are you doing? I am home like most of the world right now, being cautious and careful and prayed up, of course. How are you guys doing in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic? Um, this is different. This is different than anything I've ever seen before in my lifetime. So we're just going to continue to be prayed up and keep each other prayed up. And make sure you check on those that you care for, those that you're connected to, see how they're doing, see how they're feeling. I am one of the ones that are have to be careful because of breathing issues that I have from time to time. Um, and I'm being careful. I did have a chance to go out and get away for a little bit. And even while my husband and I were away, we were still pretty much cooped up in the hotel. And trust me, when I went in, I had everything that I need. I had my wipes, I had my Lysol. I sprayed so much Lysol in the room, wiped down everything to the point where we were choking in the room. But that's where we are. And I normally do that anyway when I travel. I normally have a mattress cover for the bed. I normally have my own sheets to put on the bed. That's just how I travel. Um, but we just need to get away. We got away. We enjoyed ourselves, and my husband and I, we both agreed it was just our time just to be alone, just to sit back and just be quiet and just chit chat a little bit. But I want to share something that happened while we were away, and you guys think about it. You tell me what you would have done. We had gone to the store, and we were in the store, and we knew when we pulled up to this particular area, it was like, okay, it looked a little suspect, a little questionable. And we got into the store, and we were getting what we needed to get, and I'm standing in line. And my husband already, saw these three little boys. And, you know, and noticed some of their behavior. And then I'm in line getting ready to get our, pay for our, the stuff that I had. And all I heard out of these three little boys, and they could not have been no more than 12. And if I say 13, I'm being very generous. But I don't even think they were 13. They were very young. It was three of them. And the words that were coming out of their mouth, I can't even, one, I won't repeat them. And there's two words that for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, bothers me even when I hear people that look like me, people of color, even say the word. That's the N word. Don't like it. I know it's origination. There's nothing about that word that you can say to convince me that it's good. So don't call me it. Don't associate me with the N word, because I am not nowhere near close to that sort of behavior or character. And of course, the B word. You know my name, call me my name. But these little boys, and it was one in particular. He was going at him. He came into the store. He was disrespecting the elderly people. I'll do this to you. I'll do that. Peeps. When I tell you, I'm looking at my husband like, babe. Guys, it was on me. It was on me. I couldn't take it any longer. I'm going to tell you right now, I could not take it any longer. The stuff that was coming out of this little boy's mouth was totally unacceptable. And I don't even know the word to describe, but I was just that upset. So we're in line. And he happened to say the N-word, talking about his anatomy, what he going to do to women and girls. And my neck snapped like I had whiplash. And I turned and I looked at him. And I motioned to him. And I'm not sure what look I had on my face. And I just motioned to him and I went. And he looked at me. I said, young man. And he was getting ready to do that what sort of thing. But I don't know what look I had on my face. But he was like, yes. And I leaned down to him and I said, if your mother walked in this store right now and saw you and heard the words that were coming out of your mouth, what would she do? Now, mind you guys, no one could hear me. I had turned straight into mother mode when you talk through your teeth and no one can hear or understand you, but he could hear because I was that close in his ear. And he said she wouldn't like it. I said, so what gives you the right to behave the way that you're behaving right now? What gives you that right? Now, his two other friends, they didn't say a word because he seemed like the ringleader. And their heads just dropped because I'm not making a scene in the store. I'm not doing that. I'm just talking to him. I said, what you're doing is not appropriate. Now, what you do with your friends, that's what you do. When you're out here in public, do you know who you're representing when you're out here? And his head just dropped. He didn't have much to say. I said, sweetheart, I'm trying to save your life because you're going to do this to somebody and they're not going to be this kind. You are better than this. You can do better than this. I expect you to be better than this. This is not good. This is not what we want to see. And he looked at me. I said, I'm trying to save your life. You are a representation of your family, your parents. So what you're doing, you got to do better than this. He looked at me, head down, said, okay. I said, understand who you are. And if nobody has told you you are important. You're a representation of something that's much bigger. And this is not what we need to see. Do better. He said, yes. I turned around. I paid for the stuff that I had. And when I looked back, my husband had walked back to the three of them. And I didn't know what he had said. And my husband has a way, they don't say nothing to these kids out here. Their moms could be somewhere, they could say something. But this particular day, I could not hold it in any longer. Because I was like, I cannot sit here, stand here, and watch this be happening. Everybody else is looking like it's okay. This is not okay. Our little young brown boys, no, this is not okay. Not at all. So my husband went back to them and said, young men. And again, it couldn't have been no more than maybe 10, 11, maybe 12 years old. And he went back and he told them, my husband told me, he said, I want to thank you guys. I want to compliment you for being respectful when my wife approached you and said something to you about your behavior. I agree. You guys are better than this. You know, that's what society sees. You got to do better than this. And they looked at my husband, and I'm not sure what all that he said to them, but that's all that I know that he said. And they said, yes, sir. And then my husband gave them some money to go get them a snack in the store. Now, I'm not sure if anybody else would have done what we did or even said anything or even gave them a little piece of change to get a snack. But we were offering them something that I'm not sure they were used to seeing or not used to seeing. But that was a side of grace that we offer to these kids to let them know, I see you. And it was on me so bad when I got back to the room, I just started praying for that young man and his little friends that he had with him, just to ask God just to touch their little hearts. Because when I say that it cut me to the core, it cut me to the core. And we got to do more as parents, because that's where it starts at home. I'm not saying that their behavior is a representation of their household. I don't know. I can't say. All I know is what I witnessed and what I was exposed to while I was out there. And it was not a good sight to see. And when we talk about stereotypes and we're looking at racial things and things of that nature, and we see something like that, and there were other nationalities and races out there as well, and they're looking like, okay, like this is normal or whatever they may have been thinking. But I just had to say something to that young man that he was so much better than the words that he was using. If he could take that much emphasis and being that so disrespectful and vulgar, what could he possibly do if he would turn that around and help that elderly gentleman that he was cussing out when he came into the store? You know, I remember growing up in our neighborhoods, you always had a big mama around or somebody in the neighborhood that if they saw you doing something, they said something to you, and then later on, you know, when you got home, you got it again. So nowadays you can't say anything to anybody's children because of whatever backlash that you might get. At that point in time, I wasn't looking for backlash. I spoke to that young man, you know, in a whisper, you know, to let him know I wasn't about to embarrass him because he was already embarrassing himself because of his behavior. But we have got to go a little bit more in with our kids to let them know when you leave us and outside of this household, you are a representation of that household. You are a representation of your mother, your father, whoever it is that's your guardian that's raising you. And everybody, when we come into this world, you learn right from wrong and behaviors. And I'm not sure if anybody has ever said to him that he mattered or what you're doing is inappropriate. I'm not sure. All I know is that was one time that it was on me so bad. You can call it the Holy Spirit. You can call it God speaking through me, or however way you want to interpret this. But I needed to say something to that little boy to let him know, oh, no, little man, we can't do this. Absolutely not. We will not do this. You know, and I'm hoping that with those words that we spoke, my husband and I, that still continues to resonate with him. And when we got back in the car, my husband, he said, "Babe," he said, "I didn't know if his mother was going to come around the corner and have some words with you because you were saying something to her child." He said, "But I couldn't even hear what you were saying." He said, "But I just didn't know." I said, "Honey," I appreciate that. I appreciate you having my back, going back to the young man, saying something to him, you know, giving him his kudos and being respectful towards me when I said what I needed to say to him." I said, "But it was on me too tough. I could not let it go." You know, and I'm hoping that it changed his life. I hope that when he gets older, he can say, "I remember one time I said something, and guess what? This lady said something to me," and I'm like, okay, because he looked like okay, and you know how you can look at a child and see that this is not a bad kid, maybe misguided, but this is not a bad. This is a child. You know, kids get to a certain age where they start to try to figure out who they are. You know, am I going to be a follower or am I going to be a leader? Which one am I going to do? And that's what I got out of that. You know, he wanted to be big and bad in front of his friends, you know, and even kids, if you're sitting here now with your mom or your dad or whoever watching this, step back a little bit. Decide who you're going to be. You want to be a leader, you want to be a follower. You want to succumb to peer pressure, or you want to learn how to be your own person and stand on your own and be respectful in this world that's sometimes not caring. So decide what you want to do. You know, do you want to be that person and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that? Am I going to hold the door open for somebody? Am I going to be respectful? What more are you going to get by doing that? You know, so we have to be able to step back and say, hey, guys, you know, teachers are doing everything that they could possibly do for our kids. But guess what? It's not all for the teachers to do. Okay? They are there to give instruction, to teach them certain things, to educate them. But guess what? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, their biggest teachers, their biggest educators are us, their parents. So we have to learn how to sit back and say, okay, let's have a conversation. Okay? Let's talk about some stuff. You know, and I'm thankful for my parents, you know, because we had conversations and we talked. Does everybody's household do that? Absolutely not. But if you are in a position where you can mentor and coach and sponsor certain things, then do so. Because they have to get the information from somewhere, and it has to be good information. You know, I remember, and me and my sister were talking about this when she saw the womanhood video that I did about a week and a half ago, and she was like, "Neat, remember the time when we had our own Women's Day?" I said, yes. And if you don't know what Women's Day is, it's when you get your cycle, okay? And my mother made it special for us because, like I said before, I can't remember not knowing about that change in your life being a little girl. And I happened to be in elementary school when it came knocking at my door. So, but my mother made me feel like it was a special day. She didn't make me feel bad about it. We talked about it. And like I said, we've always talked about it. So when it happened, I knew what to look for. I knew certain things that I had to do in order to take care of my body, keep myself clean and those things. But you would not, don't be shocked and amazed when you have little girls who don't know, who have no clue about keeping themselves clean or what the cycle even means. Do they understand that this is one of the first signs of letting you know about getting pregnant and having children and things like that nature? One of the signs where you don't see it, you need to be concerned. Okay? Or if it's flowing a little bit too heavy, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. And not only that did she explain it to me, she also, once it started happening to me, because I was very young, I'm in elementary school, she made an appointment with the doctor so I could talk to the doctor as well and answer questions, and made it special, and then on top of that, my father had a conversation with me. And like I said, my father was, he was different. He was strong-willed, had his own way of doing things. But let me tell you, when that day came along, my mother told him, well, need has started. And he understood what that meant. And we had a conversation, and he talked to me about my body as a father. Okay, to let me know, now you really got to be careful. Now you really got to own that temple that you have. Now you really you're stepping into womanhood. And although you're still my little girl, I want you to be careful. Don't let everybody say and do anything to you. Okay, you are special. You are going to be somebody's queen someday. But right now, you're the princess, you're the queen in making. So therefore, you got to know what you need to do with your body and be powerful in doing it. You are beautiful, you are this and you are that. I mean, that is because that's a part of your life. And y'all let me know, women, you let me know how your first day was and what you knew and what you did not know. And I had a family of women that when it happened, trust me, everybody was on the phone. Guess what? Women's Day, womanhood, guess who's joined the ranks? And if we didn't feel comfortable talking about, we had our aunties that we could talk to. We had those older grandmothers that we could talk to. Nowadays kids are not getting that information. We got to be able to make them feel special in that part of it. And this all comes into what I experienced that time when me and my husband were away. And when I'm looking at the kids, because they go through puberty. Young boys start feeling things happening in their bodies. Their private parts are starting to do things that they really don't understand. Brothers, please, have a conversation with these young men, with your nephews, with your sons, and with your daughters. Don't leave your daughters out, okay? If you don't know, there's a lot of research out there. Contact some doctor. Say, look, I have a daughter. I want to be able to give her the information that she needs when that time comes. You want to make sure preparation precedes the blessing. So you want to make sure that you're prepared and you're not shocked when it happens. So you want to be able to sit your little girl down and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Okay? And let her know. Don't let them start isolating themselves from you. Let them start talking to you. And my dad, by the time I came along, everybody else was out the house. So here I am, with my other sister. And, he's the only guy in the house at this point. So, okay. And we all know with cycles comes a lot of hormones. You're all over the place, And I always say there's only 1 week out the month where you're pretty much okay. The other ones, you got pre, during, or post. That's 3 right there. So, and my dad was cool with it, and, you're trying to set up times where you want to go on vacation, you want to go here, you want to go there. And sometimes for us women and for us little girls, we don't feel like it. That's not when we feeling all that comfortable, because our bodies are going through so many changes. And when that happens, we have to be more in tune to them. We have to be more available and talk to them. If there's your little cousins, if you're your nieces, if you're your children, Don't wait till they get to that point in time where you can see the changes in their bodies to have a conversation. It's my recommendation that you start when they start being able to talk. Talking to them about their bodies. Don't make any nicknames up for it. Call it what it is what it is. That way, when they do transition, they're going to have more questions. They're going to feel some kind of way, but it won't be as bad on that end because you already taking care of it from the back end. So, it's just me watching children now and how it's so much different, and I don't get me wrong, there were times, back during the times when I was a little girl that, some girls didn't have the information, but we had enough information to know, okay, no, that ain't even it. That's not even true, but we're able to sit back now. We laughing and talking. I mean, my sister, she talks about her Women's Day. I talk about mine, and we laugh about it, because it is a change. You're not that same. You're not the little girl. You're not. For me, I wasn't the little girl, but I wasn't a teenager either. I was elementary school people, and and I happened to start before my sisters did. And they were teenagers, and I was like, they was like, oh my God, but they were wonderful. They had my back. They was like, okay. Now, granted, they hadn't even gotten theirs yet, but they knew they had enough information because of my mom that they made me feel so much more comfortable, in going through that process. And even with your sons, trust me, they go through stuff too. They got questions. The things happen in their bodies too, that they don't understand. So you gotta talk to them. I did it with mine, and I left the door open for them to ask any question they want to ask. Anyone, and now that we're in different times and lifestyles and things of that nature, we want to bring everybody into the know. Just like with this coronavirus that's going on, we want to be able to be in the know. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I have not left my house since we got back. So I've been in the house now, going on a week and a half now. And for me, because I'm a homebody, I don't mind being in the house. This is giving me an opportunity to finish some projects that I need to finish. But I also know that sometimes you can get a little cabin fever. And I'm just sitting back just thinking about things that I can do, things that can make my life easier, things that make my husband's life easier. And we're just, spending some time together. My husband's working on a project in the basement. We have a bathroom that he's putting in. Well, he's trying to finish putting in. And that seems to be therapeutic for him, so I leave him alone. He's working on that. But we just have to get to a point and place in our life that we have to, even though we have these things that's going on around us, that we still have to be aware of the role that we play when we're outside of our own four walls and of our homes. But that's for the most part, that's what I've been up to. I want to probably be doing some more reading. Today I did some work with my plants because I love plants. Making sure my plants are good. I might be doing some musical stuff later on. Or I just might get on the sofa and curl up, with Macho, which is the dog, which I'm surprised he's not walking around here now. But just taking a breath, and just looking at things, the other day I was looking outside into my backyard and I saw a bald eagle fly by. And I told you guys where I live at is very rural, and don't tell me what you might see. And he was just alone. He was just soaring through the sky. And I know he couldn't be completely by himself, because normally I've seen two out here, and I do believe is as I said, is a husband and wife duo. But I just saw him flying around, just gliding. And at first I wasn't sure, but then he came down close enough for me to see, yes, this is a bald eagle. And you guys know how I feel about eagles. I love the bird, and I love what they stand for. But I'm just taking a step back, and I'm just looking at nature. I'm looking at the trees. I have two beautiful plum trees in my backyard. And I asked my husband today, I said, do you think we're going to get any plums? We got some last year because the seasons has been a little off. So they're already blooming. And I have one that's blooming, one that has bloomed, but now the leaves are starting to come in. So I'm like, I don't know too much about that farming sort of thing. So I'm just taking a, just taking a look and seeing how nature works and the transition. I'm starting to see butterflies. But I'm just taking my time and I'm just looking and just being aware and looking at different opportunities that presented themselves. Of course, as you guys know, the book launch celebration has been canceled. And I have massive amounts of books in my possession. So if you want to order a book, go to, I'll leave the link below where you can go to order your book. If you want me to sign it, I will sign it. Just let me know. But I'm just sitting back, just, taking all of this in because this is, I'm not going to say a new normal. I'm just saying that we're just in a situation right now that we all have to be careful about. We all have to be considerate and watch out for not just ourselves, but for one another. So I will get back with you guys again soon. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Keep loving on yourselves hard to be better and to do better. And I will be checking back in to see how everyone's doing. Remember, I love you. God loves you. Extend grace even when people are not being graceful. We should not be fighting over toilet paper and things of that nature. Share what you have if you have, and be kind to one another. Say something that will edify and warm someone's heart, And until then, until next time I talk to you guys, be blessed, be wonderful, be well.